Hello, my name is Glenn Coombs. This coming November here in the state of Maine, we're going to be voting on whether or not to legalize marijuana for recreational use. It's going to appear on the November ballot. And as a concerned citizen here in the state of Maine, as a pastor, and also as a retired licensed alcohol and drug counselor, I want to share with you just a few reasons why we need to defeat that referendum and make sure that we keep marijuana illegal. We're going to talk about the physical effects, the mental effects, and the fear of the unknown. So let's start with the medical effects. According to the National Institute of Drug Abuse, marijuana is and remains a Schedule I drug. Now, a Schedule I drug is a drug that has no recognizable medical effects and has the high potential for abuse. And what this means is this means that this drug, with its continued use, will have very adverse effects on the physical body. A research study done at the Harvard University School of Medicine showed that continued daily use of marijuana affected the bronchial passages. It affected the immune system that could fight off bacteria and viruses. And it also had an increase in the amount of cancer-related tumor cells. And because this affected the ability of the body's actions in fighting it off, diseases were more prominent in people that had been smoking marijuana for regular use. Now, this also talked about, in this study, the tolerance and control of marijuana. Tolerance and control are two words that we use in the field of drug addiction because it's what really points out how dangerous a drug really can be. What does it mean when they say tolerance? Well, first of all, tolerance is talking about the body's ability to feel the effects of the drug. As people smoke marijuana, they get an initial flash of euphoria. And over time of regular use, it takes more and more of the drug in order for them to achieve that level of euphoria. Along with that is the word control. People who use marijuana have a lowered inhibition. There's, in some cases, a lot of intense laughing, a lot of talking, binge eating. All of those things are things that people who use marijuana when they're not on the drug would not do, and that's what they're talking about when they talk about control. Marijuana is a Schedule I drug, according to the United States Drug Enforcement Agency, and therefore it still remains dangerous to society and remains dangerous to our physical bodies. The other issue involving marijuana is its effects on the brain. Many studies have shown that it alters the cells that deal with our motor reflexes and our memory. And many people who have been long-term users of marijuana report that their short-term memory is not there anymore, and that their reaction to events going on around them is significantly slowed. This puts danger when they are behind the wheel of a vehicle, or they're operating heavy equipment, or even working with certain appliances in the comfort of their own home. Now, in the effects of what it does with psychological issues, marijuana has been proven and has been proven to affect anxiety and depressive disorders. Now, many medical professionals in the mental health field will prescribe marijuana to deal with the effects of depression and anxiety. But what we're mistaking when we talk about this is that marijuana does not attack the illness, it attacks the symptoms. It doesn't treat the actual mental health illness. It only treats the symptoms of depression and anxiety. So therefore, it has no mental health capability of treating an illness. And what we've also found out, and this came from a study that was done at the University of Washington, Louise Degenhardt and her research staff did a long-term study on marijuana use as far as what it has to do with the mental health issues. And this reported that not only did marijuana have no effect on actually curing or treating the illness, but it actually heightened the symptoms. And here's why. In the beginning, when marijuana enters your body, there's that feeling of euphoria and that feeling of joy and happiness. And then as you peak and start to come back down again, you are in a state of calmness and relaxed. Well, that's what lessened the effects of the symptoms of these things such as anxiety and depression. But after the drug had reached a certain point in the THC levels, and THC is the active ingredient in marijuana, after that had lowered, what they found is that the symptoms were even greater than they were before, and that the depression and the anxiety was significantly elevated beyond what it was before using marijuana to treat those issues. Now, we've seen now and looked at studies on what it does to the physical body. We've looked at what it does to the brain, but there's one more reason why we need to defeat this referendum and why we need to make sure that it is defeated in November, and that is the fear of the unknown. Almost all of these studies say that we don't really know the effects of marijuana totally, because the population that heavily used it in the 50s and 60s is just entering retirement now. They're just entering their elderly years right now, and we don't really know what the long-term effects are going to be. And so I urge my Maine citizens to think very carefully about passing this referendum, and I urge them to vote no on legalizing marijuana for recreational use. Thank you for your time.